the next thing that we're going to be doing with our clay pieces is we're going to be glazing them. So once the pieces that you guys have right now are bisque fired, so they're hard. They've gone through the kiln once, and now we're ready for them to have glaze on them. So we're going to take our bisque piece and we have to select our glaze. So different types of glaze that we have. We have glaze in the classroom that is it's called stroke and coat, which is solid color glaze, and then we have other glazes that have these little bursts and things in them. So these little rocks and things, when they cook in the kiln and when they melt, they're gonna melt and have bursts of color. So like this dish was made with a glaze that has like bursts of color. So you have all those little speckles and things in the glaze. So it's very important that when you're laying your glaze on your piece, especially if you have this glaze with like this type of these rocks and things in it, that these crystals, that you actually get them on your piece. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to just lay down a flat glaze. So to start, we want to start with a damp brush, not a wet brush. So I'm going to put it in my water. I'm going to kind of wring it out. I don't want it to be soaking wet. Okay, and then I'm going to use a glaze. Right now this looks like, and I know this kind of looks like a gray kind of a glaze, but the actual color is going to be this. It's called oil spot, and it's like a brown. So one thing you have to pay attention to is there's little swatches around where the glaze is in the classroom. You have to pay attention to what color you're actually selecting, because you might think that this is going to come out to be a nice brown kind of a color with specks on it, when in reality it's actually going to be more like this color. It's called pagoda green, and it's actually green. So some of these glazes, especially the specialty ones that are like this, when they're fired, they actually change color. So really pay attention to the swatches that I have in the classroom to make sure that you're selecting the color that you actually want and you're not going to make a mistake. So I have my piece here, and when I have a damp brush, what I'm going to do is when I'm grabbing my glaze, I want to make sure that I have a nice full brush of glaze. Okay, and I want to make long strokes to make sure that I'm covering my piece completely with each brush stroke. So I'm going to grab a nice handful here, and I'm going to okay, so you see that each brush stroke, I'm trying to lay down a nice thick line of color. Okay, a nice line of color. So what this is going to do, by doing it this way, I'm going to ensure that I'm going to hit every spot evenly on my cup. And each area of my cup is going to have a nice layer of color on it. Now, you're going to need to do more than one coat of color. You're going to do more than one coat of color. So right now I just did one layer. I'm trying to have a nice thick layer. Okay, so now I have this nice layer of color on here. And now as you can see right here, so you can see the color that I just did is kind of shiny. There we go. The color I just did is shiny, and the color that I did before is like a matte. So it lost its shininess, and what that means is that it's dry. And these pieces, the glaze is going to dry fairly quickly because of the fact that these pieces, the bisque fired clay is very porous and has like little microscopic holes, and it's going to suck the color into, it's going to suck the moisture out of the glaze. So once you have it to be this nice like matte kind of shine and matteness to it, then you can go over to your second coat. So again, I'm going to put this over here. Okay, I'm going to do a nice even application. Because I want to make sure that I'm having a nice even layer of color on my piece. Now for the glazes that have those crystals in them, when you're getting the bottle out or getting your glaze, it's really important that you make sure the glaze is mixed up so that when you are glazing your piece, that you're getting a nice application of those crystals onto your piece. Because if you don't have those crystals on it, then you're not going to have the full effect of the glaze. So I'm trying to make sure I got all the spots. So it's a nice even coat all the way around. Okay. And like I said, I'm trying to make sure that I have a nice even coating all the way around, because I don't want to have any strange streaks or anything on my glaze. I want to make sure that everything is nice and even. Okay. So that piece right there is pretty much done. Okay. On the outside, at least, I'm going to probably go in and glaze the inside, maybe a different color. For your pieces, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the type of glaze that you use, because some of the glazes are not safe for food and some of them are. And the way you can tell if it's safe for food, the glaze bottle will have this little icon on it that says food safe. And then if it's not food safe, it'll have like a line through it and it'll be red. So then you'll know which ones are safe for food and which ones aren't. Just make sure that where the liquid or where the food is going to be touching is the food safe. All of the bottles of Stroke and Coat are food safe. So if you do a nice layer of that kind of color on the inside, then you should be good. And then what these will do is they'll go in the kiln. And then once we fire them, then we'll have this nice shiny kind of glassy look to our piece. And then with all the glaze that you put on there. Okay, so that's the process of glazing. And we're going to try and get this done in the classroom the next time we're back. All right.